Welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 646, recording live March 18th, 2026. I'm your host, Cowtown Tony.
And I'm one of your other hosts, Kelly.
I'm another one of your hosts, Dustin, the movie gun guy. Taking that one
Hey.
around the block. Yeah.
And everybody else, well, they're doing fun things down in, places where they actually can shoot fun things.
Adriel posted a picture. I go to America.
I was talking to him a couple of days ago. He goes, I'm going to be on the show. And he goes, I'm not going to be. And I'm going, right, Superstition Mountain. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
A poll. Well, we saw the picture. They have a poll.
And Dave's
Whatever.
not here because he doesn't like us. So.
Well, Dave, I'm going to be seeing him this weekend. I'm hoping. He says he's going up on Friday. I was thinking I may go on Friday night, but why don't we get into what we did in Guns this week? Because we can talk about what we did in Guns this week. Plus, we'll also be able to talk about what's upcoming this weekend, too.
Awesome.
Sounds good. How about Kelly? Let's go with you first.
Okay. So what did I do with Guns this week? Well, I submitted my nomination form. Somebody else nominated me, but I submitted it officially for the Ontario director for the CCFR.
Not again.
Yeah. What do you mean, not again?
Do you have free time?
No.
But this is, so I've been a director for 4 years now, right? So there's two positions that are available. So my position, which is a 2-year position, it's up for election as well as a 1 year because the person who it's offset every year, right? So Kelly Kincaid was the other Ontario director for the CCFR. However, last year her position was up for election and somebody else took that position. However, I keep saying however, they are no longer in that position. So his time slot or candidacy
no
was
longer offset.
It still will be offset. So it's a 1-year position. That's for that. So I'm assuming, whoever submits, let the race begin. I am going to start campaigning, soliciting, whatever, but I'm announcing it here on Slamfire Radio that I've officially submitted my biography, my nomination forms, as well as my picture. We're going to recycle the picture, but I put together a new biography. So I think it was pretty well done, if I don't say so myself. I spent a couple hours writing it last night. What else did I do? I didn't go shooting this weekend, which was weird, but I did have a conversation with one of my besties, Kelly Kincaid. She was working this weekend, and so I took her out for Lupper. That makes sense. Yeah. Lunch, supper, but we found our new favorite place here in Kingston. We wanted to go for coffee, and so all the coffee shops were closed. Weird. Or they were filled with students from Queens, and every single table was full. So we just, like, Christ's sakes. Anyways, so no word of a lie, we went to 6 coffee shops, couldn't get in. And we went to a couple other places too that weren't coffee shops, but were places that we would normally haunt, but they were closed. So we were walking by this really cool place near City Hall, and we said, why don't we just go in there? So we had a glass of wine, and we had some really cool. It's a wine place. It's really cool. So we're sitting there, and I'm wearing my Firearm Rights, sweatshirt. And we're sitting there drinking our wine and eating our crostini with gorgonzola and ham on it. It was delicious, by the way. And a guy walked past us. He goes, "Hey, I like your shirt." And I said, "Well, thank you." And he goes, "Are you with the CCFR?" And I said, "Why, yes, I am." I said, "I'm one of the directors." And I said, "This is Kelly Kincaid. She was one of the other directors for the CCFR." And he says, "You know what? I really thank you for everything that you guys are doing. You guys are amazing. You got to keep it up." So he was one of our peeps, and I just wanted to say, give him a shout out. He probably doesn't listen to the show, but still, right? Got to wear and got to represent the CCFR. So when did that? We did talk about.
And that's when Kelly's internet died.
We did talk about Kelly's internet is not very good, so that's something.
Well, Tony,
Yeah.
what did you do in guns while we wait for Kelly to come back?
Sure. What did I do in guns? I'm still doing the show notes. Sorry, guys.
We,
That's
we
okay.
do
Do you want
every-
me to? Oh,
Oh,
she's back.
Kelly's
Oh.
back. All right.
Oh.
Well, go back to you.
Did I freeze again?
You
Yes. At least you freezed very clean this time. There's no robot Kelly going around.
Oh crap! What did you hear? Where did you leave it?
We heard you saying
You-
the guy came up to you saying that they thank you for everything you do. Is that correct, Dustin?
did. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So it's talking about going out on Wednesday night. Skeet night? Yes? No? Yes?
I think we haven't got to that part. No.
no.
Okay. So Wednesday night skeet night's going to start happening again because it needs to. It was our weekly meeting. And unfortunately, neither Kelly nor I have had the opportunity to take out our 20 gauge yet and shoot them. So we got to get going on that. But the weather's been complete and utter horseshit. So we haven't done it yet.
Oh.
And that's it. I think that's everything.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
It's okay. It's a couple of things. Oh, and I had a couple of meetings too. About, the whole, next
Maple
10
Seed or no?
next 10 months of my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maple Seed, getting things planned, had some conversations about how we can streamline processes for our instructors, bringing on some new people, traveling across the country, dates and different things. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right. So, Dustin, what about you? Or do we want to go to Tony? Because you have things that you want to bring up too.
If Tony's ready, we can.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good. I bought a new rifle, but first I have
Ooh.
to showcase. Do we showcase Canadian retailers? I guess I should showcase the
course.
Canadian retailers.
Why not?
Especially,
You support
um,
retailers here in Canada because if not, they're dying.
These guys look like a scam. Just saying. Dr. Deals, you guys don't take credit cards. It's kind of weird, but it's, I guess, small
Who?
store. Dr. Deals out of New Brunswick, I believe.
Dr. Deals.
Yeah, Moncton, New Brunswick. Some small store somewhere.
I've never
Adriel
heard
does
of
have a Reddit post up in the time that he got a handgun from them, and he complained their transfer wasn't very fast. I didn't have that problem at all. I placed the order Saturday night. I think they confirmed it Sunday, and then they shipped it on Monday. So it wasn't too bad. It was a long way for the rifles to come here, but that's a separate issue. So yeah, just so you know, you have to pay by e-transfer, but they're actually a legit business. I found this is kind of
Did you get their guns? What is that? That's-
So I bought a AR sight adjustment tool with it, and they wrote me a little note. Can't find it, frowny face, and then my cash refund. So
Okay,
just
is
thought
it
that
going
was
out of
pretty
the
cute.
person's, garage or what?
I actually don't know. Never been.
Dr. Deals?
Mm-hmm.
DOCTORS? DEALS?
Yep.
Why don't I find them on social media?
They have their website,
Okay.
but this is what I picked up.
Oh, if something
I've-
came to you.
Yeah, yes, they're not a scam. That's what I say. They look like a scam, but they're in fact not. So I thought I'll feature them here. This is a made in Canada, a Savage B22 FV, or the V model, depends on who you ask. It is a bolt action 22LR. Takes the Savage A and B series magazine. They're modern rimfire magazines. 21-inch barrel. This is not the exact version I want because it has the long barrel, which seems a little much for perhaps a 22, but it does have a fair heavyweight barrel, not threaded, so that's another points off of it. Has the side bases on it, but it's not a one piece. Generally, I prefer one piece just because that will make it easier for me to move my scopes around. But I'm guessing my Diamondback 6-24 will probably live on this thing pretty much permanently at this point. steel sling swivel studs, so no plastic. That's very good. You can put your sling or your bipod on it. And pretty basic plastic stock. Sounds basic. It has what I will call the medium tier Savage, not quite really parkerized, but matte finish. That's the same finish as I have on my 822 FVSR, and that gun has, except the trigger issue I've recently developed, I haven't shot it after that, so I don't really know if it's going to sort itself out or not. But that gun has treated me quite well, especially in the finish department. I believe the cheaper Savage rimfires would be like more of a shinier blue finish that doesn't wear as good, I want to say. And on my A22 at least, this finish has been quite weather resistant, and even if it's starting to show some orange, if I used to shoot that gun in the winter times a lot, if I didn't take it out of the case soon enough, sometimes you'll get a little orange, and if you oil it up, it will come right back, so that's very good. It's designed to be a rimfire, so the strokeless knife is short. Overall feels pretty good, looks pretty good, and it's really cheap. They are running a Savage often runs mailing rebates, but I'll share that in the new gun stuff part as well. So this is like sub $400, and I have a $50 rebate on top of that. So, and I have a lot of A22 magazines because I was shooting A22.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm on their website now. I found them.
From a value perspective, it's really good. Believe it or not, this is probably the first rimfire 22 I'm gonna own semi-permanently. A friend of the show, Jason Phillip, did sell me one and Kelly saw I took that. I bought the B22G, which is the Woodstock, fancier, shinier version, at the CCFR AGM dinner in Calgary.
Yeah. Jason Phillips sold you that?
He did. It's a very exciting auction type situation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Okay, it was during the auction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't hold on to that thing because that thing had iron sights, and I don't shoot a lot of iron sights gun. And it's just too, like, the wood is quite nice. I think it's just too nice for me to, like,
you could have.
I could have wrecked it very quickly.
You could have put options on it.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. You happy with that then?
I haven't shot it yet.
You haven't shot it yet. Why don't you take some time to shoot it and then we'll review? How's that?
Yeah.
Sounds good. But overall feels pretty good for how cheap it is. So that's pretty cool.
Doctor Deals.
Doctor Deals.
Yeah. So I went and had a check on, nothing on social media, but they do have a website. And yeah, they say they only do EMTs, but very secure, it says.
EMTs are very secure.
EMTs are not insecure. You just don't know who's on the other side.
Exactly.
Right. And they ship across the country very promptly, it says.
Which is verified. Yes, it was pretty prompt.
Okay. Anyway,
it's in the post, so it is across the country.
It's interesting. They have some stuff. I
don't know if they even have a storefront. It was just kind of a
I'm gonna look into that too. But it does sound like, it's a little proudly Canadian, that's for sure. Proudly East Coast. It's very East Coast feeling too. Been there, done that, lived there, spent most of my life there, so I can embrace that. So
cool.
Yeah. Doesn't have any contact information.
I know. I don't know.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know what they like from. Maybe Adriel will be able to help us on the marketing things, but like, I don't know, list their firearm license number or something to give someone some kind of a reassurance. At least the internet is doing them justice, saying they're not a scam, in fact. But yeah, from the East Coast, let's go to the West Coast. Dustin.
Hey, yeah, it is. It's the wet coast right now.
I've heard.
Oh boy, it has not stopped raining in the last 3 days. It's just been downpour 24 hours a day. But this is not a weather show; it's a gun show. Let me tell you what I did in guns this week. Got to test a solid plug for an AK-47, which is pretty cool. So for folks that
Nice.
don't know, when we're doing blank fire, we have different constrictors that we put down the barrel to different effects for different flashes. But one thing that we will do is something called a solid plug. What a solid plug is exactly what it sounds like. Screw a solid plug nice and deep down the barrel. And then the blank that we use, barely a couple of grains of powder, just enough to cycle the action. In fact, so we were testing this for sound reasons, actually. So we were shooting it without ear pro. It was honestly, it was a lot like shooting a suppressor, actually. Like the noisiest bit was really the action cycling and the cases ejecting into the roof and wall, because AK-47s love sending casings back to the mother country. But so that was pretty fun and kind of neat. You don't get to shoot guns without ear pro very often, but that was entertaining.
You could. You're just
you can
permanently damaging yourself.
Wouldn't want to. Yeah. Got to do some on-set blank fire for a couple of days, which is always cool. One was in the studio and one was out in the miserable cold wind and rain. It was not a nice day. It was not a nice day. That's people ask like, oh, yeah, like, why, you love being out on set? Or I'm like, no, being on set, it's fun for a little while, but it's hurry up and wait. And then when you're stuck outside and the weather's miserable, it's not fun. But it was still fun. The team that we work with, everybody's super cool. So, so this is fun. We got to do a non-gun build. So, we're training somebody for, again, I'll be careful because I can't talk too much about it, but training somebody to operate a lever gun.
Mm-hmm.
But so that person wanted some practice with lever gun without our supervision. Now, then we get into limited situations. Can't give you a replica, that's prohibited. Can't give you a real gun, you don't have a license. So if you want to train without me, how do we get around this? So we built essentially a simulant, if you want to call it that, something with an 1894 lever and a stock. So basically the exact same angle and configuration that you get from a normal 1895 or 1894 lever gun. But the frame and the body of it and where the barrels would be, not a real gun. Doesn't look like a gun, so the law says that it's not a replica if it doesn't imitate a real firearm with precision or near precision, and it doesn't. So that was a cool thing that we got to build and pass off for somebody to train. And
why
I just thought that was
a Red Rider.
Well, again, when you start playing with toys, and especially like the goal was to train this person because they're going to be using an 1894 lever.
Fair enough.
Right. So you want them to have that same sort of ergonomic practice and, similar weight. So it's just one of those like kind of problem solves that you kind of have to work around to stay within the realms of our law and, within the realms of common sense. Not that our law and common sense meet very often, but anywho, I just thought that was anecdotally cool. I know because you guys are in our group chat, but I've started building my list for my first round of YouTube filming stuff, and I am rapidly excited for the day that I have a Saturday off so that I can go up to the armory and film what I want to film. But I'm very excited. Have the list. I have some of the stories. I'm starting to kind of work on that. We'll shoot a bunch of shorts and a couple of long forms, and I'll learn as I go. But I also got a couple of gadgets and toys. Got a couple of new studio lights for that filming, and I got a little display, one of those little lazy Susans, the electric lazy Susans that you can set the speed. So I have a few more elements that I need before I'm ready. I gotta 3D print some gun stands and a couple of other little bits, but I'm very excited. I'm getting close now, and I have been just like chomping at the bit to work on that project. I've been really motivated, and there's some really cool stuff to talk about that folks haven't seen before. So, and I think I'm probably going to be once I shoot it, once I'm happy, I think I'm going to I'll put the stuff up on Slamfire, and I think for our Patreons, we'll probably put it up on Patreon a week early, so people can enjoy some content. So that's fun. What else we got here? Oh yeah, another Saturday and another day working the CCFR booth at another gun show. So worked the BC Outdoor Show out in Chilliwack on Saturday.
Ah.
I had a ton of fun. Got to hang out with Rod all day, which is also always fun. Rod and kind of the whole same cast of characters plus some new faces. I have to say this year the number of field officers has increased out here. We really struggled
That's
with
awesome.
that in the past.
I know.
And we've got some really awesome folks this year, which has been great. Yeah. I got to shoot I did the laser range thing again. I ran that most of the day. Again, I set the high score and I took down all challengers, every one of them.
Nice.
Yeah, including Rod.
Okay. So
And-
I am going to challenge you, baby. What was your high score? Because this weekend I'm going to be hanging out with Rod and Tracy and everybody at the Toronto Sportsman Show, right?
Yep.
So, and we also have the Strike Force booth too. So, what was your high score, please?
Okay, my high score this week was 9.7. My high score last week was 9.9. So,
Oh,
do with that what you will.
2 shows back to back on 2 weekends.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Wow.
And then I've been doing about 70 hours a week at work. I
wow.
cannot wait to sleep. I'm so tired. Oh, that's all good though. It's worth it. Honestly, it's so worth it. But yeah, let me know how you do because I was.
Well, I will see what I can do, and then I might promptly forget that I did anything because maybe I won't greet you.
Yeah, it'd be real convenient. No, I totally got 10 out of 10, and I forgot to take a picture before we hit reset.
I did the rifle and I got somewhat,
Okay. The other thing that I did in guns, I actually did today.
Tell me about it.
I had a meeting with my provincial MLA. Now I realize that some provinces they're called something different. They're MPPs or
MPP, yeah.
But here in BC they're called MLAs.
Yeah.
Member of the Legislative Assembly. Here's the thing: my MLA is an NDP MLA, and her name is Janet Rutledge. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect my meeting to go the way it went at all. She was remarkably receptive, both to my story, just about me, and my concerns over both the gun ban and right now, obviously the direction that I targeted for this meeting, because you only get about 30 minutes to talk with them. And I told her the whole reason, because she's like, I have heard nothing about this yet. And I'm like, that doesn't surprise me because you're provincial. Well, because she's NDP and they're provincial. True. And, those two things, like even me, like I haven't bothered with any of my MLAs. Why would I? What are they going to do? They're, the NDP has been in power here forever. They don't care. And, the province doesn't really have a whole lot of power to do much. I say that, but then you look at what Alberta and Saskatchewan has done.
I was just going to say, look at what Saskatchewan did this week, right? So there is power with the provinces. There is. And NDP are also people who are now starting to vocalize support for gun owners here in Canada, particularly, the ban and how it's impacting lawful gun owners here in Canada. So talk about it.
Yeah. So you're getting ahead of me, but you're
okay.
we're on the same.
I'm still in your thunder.
Wavelength. Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. I really did not expect as warm a reception as I got. I was actually it was entertaining because they surprised me near the end of it, and both herself and the assistant that she had were like, she was. What did I tell you? I actually grew up around guns and guns in the family. And I was like, this is interesting. And same with her assistant. They both had their own stories, but they were very receptive. And because I approached this from both a human perspective, so this is like for anybody listening, if you're going to go out and do this, and I recommend do this, especially if you're in BC, especially right now, because if she hasn't heard from you, none of these MLAs have probably heard from people. And now's the time to do something about that. But more to the point, I approached this from a property rights angle, from exactly the angle that Saskatchewan has taken, right? So because Saskatchewan is approaching this from a fairness kind of fairness for property lens, and that's the vector that the provinces can deal with it anyways. I was like, look, you guys, the property rights end at the province, right? Like that is your domain. Yes, the Fed can write whatever laws that they want, but it is your responsibility from a provincial perspective to make sure that my property rights are looked after, and if nothing else, the bare minimum, that I am fairly and completely made whole by anything like this, right? And then so I presented what Saskatchewan had done. I actually brought the form letter from the CCFR. I had one that I wrote to David Eby, our premier, and I brought a copy for her as well. And I was like, look, this puts it into words better, but this is what I am pushing for right now, what we should be pushing for, what I want you to help me with. And I didn't get a no. I actually got an offer to sponsor. She's offered to sponsor a lobby day at the provincial legislature at the end of summer, beginning of the fall. Now I know time wise that's not great, but to approach this from, look, the reality is that the time it will take for them to wave their magic wand and actually do the thing, not long. They could solve this relatively quickly, if they wanted to. Right, the CFO has that power. Tiny little adjustment to legislation, and they could easily accomplish the same thing Saskatchewan has done.
Right.
So while I am not positive about the timeline, just the fact that an NDP MLA is willing to not just give me the time of day, but help me by sponsoring a lobby day in our provincial legislature and kind of walk me through what I need to do, who I need to talk to, give me some steps as far as like who I should also organize to kind of bring with me. Hilariously, it was really fun watching her kind of tiptoe around, like, if you can bring people that don't look like the average gun owner. I was like, yeah, that won't be a problem. I'll bring the homos and the bright colored hair folk, because that's a lot of my gun community is that. Right. I'm like, that's not going to be hard. And I'm gonna reach out to Tracy and to Rod and just kind of get some pointers for some things along the way.
So we do it every year here we do it in Ottawa, right? Yeah. So we do it at East Elgin. I just said East Elgin. Why did I say East Elgin? I have no idea. EOSC. So there is a shoot there, and Tracy organizes that because she's our lobbyist here in and she is based out of Ottawa. But that being said, please connect with her and she'll give you some pointers on it. But the reality is, here's the thing also. Look at the NDP, who were they originally? Let's go back.
Oh, they're from my home province. They were born in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, let's look at,
I know.
80, 70 years ago.
Yep.
They were farmers.
Yep.
They were the people, right? They were the hard workers. They were the gun owners here in Canada. So there is that history too, right? So it's good to see those types of things and those conversations taking place. Yeah. I think that there has to be a shift, because essentially it was NDP from the urban community, specifically Toronto, for the past couple of decades, and that has changed, or it looks like it is changing. NDP is getting on board with some of the things that we have been talking about from a gun perspective. But take them out to the range. I do think that end of summer and also beginning of fall, it's really late, but let's also be real, right? We've been working on this for how many years?
The reality is, like, I know time-wise, like, and I told her that. Here's the thing. They are also, like, the NDP right now is kind of in trouble. Like, I don't know if you pay attention to interprovincial politics. Yeah. They're in trouble. I think a big part of why, and even when we were talking, she's like, I don't know if you're aware, but we're kind of front loaded with this whole land, rights thing. And I was like, yes, I know. That is part of why I am here. This is also a property rights issue, and it slips right into exactly the thing you guys are dealing with right now in standing up for the property rights of the people in your province. This is how this is something you can sell. And she got that right away. Like she had dialed into, like, no, that's the vector that we sell this to to the other MLAs, to the government this is a vector for them to look like they're standing up for property rights in a way that right now a lot of people don't feel like they're standing up for property rights at all.
I know it's taking place in your province, and I also know that historically it's tied to treaties, etc. And everybody on this show knows that I'm Indigenous too. It's part of what I do in corrections as well.
Yep.
So, however, that being said, I do also believe in people and their rights to their property, particularly when we're talking about firearms. Their land currently right now. There's apparently a train that's going to go through the middle of my brother's 180 acres, right? That he's going to lose. So it's horrific what's happening all over Canada. It's horrific what's happening with property, and it's horrific what's happening with our guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where do we go from here?
So where I go from here, I mean, beyond, I have actually, I preemptively sent Tracy a message. I told her, I'm like, I know you guys are doing the TSS. Don't bother with this right now. But when you're done, if you can set aside a couple of hours for me to have a conversation with you, we'll do that. But I would like, before that day happens, whatever that lobby day looks like, I would really like to organize or be part of organizing some form of a larger demonstration to demand the province stand up for us. And I don't think that that's unreasonable. And I think that that's something that could be accomplished in, the next several months.
So have you talked to Tracy at all about that specifically? Because when I went out to Quebec a couple of weeks ago, when I traveled to Quebec a couple of weeks ago, so the rally that took place in Quebec City, we did talk about specifically other rallies that will be taking place across this wonderful country of ours. So we announced when Tracy and Sophie was on the show a couple of weeks ago that there would be one in Halifax. There's going to be one that's going to be taking place in Winnipeg after all the snow, right? Looking into May, etc. But what other province has been kind of on board? Yeah. So I think that's
if we could organize one for the West Coast. I mean, we also not gonna lie, we've also got a draw. I mean, you can get people to come out just to see Rod for real. I could probably convince him, be like, hey man, you gotta come do this. You gotta get out of Chilliwack for a minute. But
well, I think that he would.
Oh, I know he would. Of course he would.
I'm saying, he's got time. He'll go do it. No worries. Rod will do it. But he
looks more tired than I do.
I had a director's meeting 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. There's lots going on with the CCFR. I'm excited about everything. But we have it's our busy season. We're starting, right? But not only that, all the gun shows and everything. Rod's going to be at TSS this week. Maybe we can chat a little bit. I'll poke Tracy and just said,
you're going to be in a room with them, and it'll be a minute before I get to again. Like, I can pop out and see Rod anytime I want, as long as I've got a day off. Like,
he's more accessible to you.
Yeah, and I will be having some conversations with him. Like, but that's
so good for you.
Thank you.
The other thing is, I think that there's people that are listening or will be listening or viewing. They can also do what you just did, right?
I can't stress that enough. Like, if I have one thing to say right now, if you are in a province that isn't Saskatchewan, let's just say that. If you're in a province that isn't Saskatchewan, you should be talking to whoever your MPP is or your MLA, whatever they call themselves. I don't care if they're part of the government, not part of the government. Now is the time. Like, seems like there's some level of or flavor of tolerance for this, even in Ontario. I'm sure that's going to be in our news, but
Doug. Well, Doug, let's talk about Doug in a few minutes.
We can. I just really think that it's the 11th hour where the clock is ticking down for real now. And the federal government can change that date anytime they want, but our provincial governments, we've seen, can take a step to protect us. And for now, what we should be doing is demanding that they do. Like, there's been lots of talk, lots of, oh, we're not going to take part in this. I say we demand the same level of protections and respect. And that was, look, when I talked to Janet, I really did approach this from a human angle. I'm feeling kind of run down. Where I told her that. I'm like, look, we've been taking L after L after L, and I am exhausted, being literally chased out of the country. I've had one of my businesses destroyed, and another one I'm not even thinking about starting here. It's going to be in another country, and that is because of this exclusively. And I'm not alone, and we are not alone. There's lots of us, and there's no good reason why people, for one, sorry, I just saw this here, Derek. Here, I'm just gonna. Yeah, Derek, this letter writing campaign, everybody should be doing this. So the CCFR right on their homepage, they've got the premier letter writing campaign. Folks, if you're listening or you're watching, go do your form letter right now. Don't just email one, do a snail mail one. Like that is effectual. It was actually something that Janet had mentioned. She's like, no, letter writing campaigns, we pay attention to those. Send them to your MLAs as well. Yeah. Like, get a group of people. They do actually respond to those things when.
Do you know why they respond?
Well, when you get a lot of voters who are sending you letters, you kind of want to pay attention.
So one of the reasons that they say that they respond is for everyone that they get, they know that there's actually another 100 of their constituents that haven't sent the letter but are thinking the same way. Yeah. So when they measure something that's taking place, particularly if they get a lot of letters or emails or phone calls, they know that their constituents want something. So way back when the OIC was first announced, Kingston was one of the, remember way back when Kingston
I remember.
was one, right? And we showed up en masse in Kingston, me, Tracy, as well as I think a good 200, maybe 300 of Kingstonians sitting in there, and my particular counselor. So you have to do this on a municipal level as well as, a provincial level too. So you have to talk to your mayor, the mayors for the municipal, right?
Yep.
But also actually your counselors, and get it on, get them on board with it too. You have to talk to your MPPs or MLAs. Out east, it's also MLAs, just have to say that too. But here in Ontario, where it's the center of the universe, it's MPP. So Kingston, again, the area that I live in is it's liberal. It's a liberal MPP. It's an MP. It's like, it's been horrible. But you still have to do it. Yeah. And they're supposed to actually listen to their constituents. Mark Garrettson doesn't. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not supposed to have an opinion.
Is he your MP? Oh my God. I'm sorry.
You didn't know that?
I didn't. I at least like my MP. I mean, he might be for the wrong party, but I don't. Oh.
Yeah. It's Garrettson. Oh. Yeah. I'm lucky, aren't I? Yeah, we're so lucky here. Okay. So you have to do it. Yeah. The other thing is to also, taking a form letter. I think form letters are good because it's volume, right? You don't really, to be real, you don't really have to think about it.
No.
And then also, if you have let's put it this way, if you're a little rough with words, right?
Yeah.
It's helpful. However, that being said, if you have a personal story, something that's attached to it, the impacts on how it's going to personally affect you, and not being disrespectful in your letter or anything, write a personal letter, something that's more than the form letter. So the CCFR, we have on our website, we have that form letter, and we have all this information. But take the time and do something a little personal too.
Oh, 100%. Like my form letter, I took that as the outline, and there's a whole paragraph about me on like a personal level, both how this has affected me from a personal level to a professional level, because those are things, right? Mm-hmm. And even in my conversation with my MLA, like I approached it from I am a person. I deserve just the most basics of respect, dignity, and and recognition of my property rights too. Here's my story and how this has negatively impacted me. Like I told them how I got into guns. You all know my story. She got to know my story, and that made such a huge difference. You could see it. I wish I could have had a camera on her face. It's a thing. People need to, and right now, like, I realize up until now I've ignored my provincial, like, I've been all federal. Like, find me a federal MP in the Lower Mainland that doesn't know who I am. And that's not the case for the MLAs. And okay, that's a mistake on my part, but gonna rectify that right meow.
Meow.
Yeah. Listen here, meow.
Meow. I have to say this. Right now, what we're seeing on Slam Bay Radio is not the normal stereotypical, like your MLA saying, bring me people that aren't your stereotypical. But the reality is gun ownership in Canada is not stereotypical anymore.
No, it's really not. And that I did try to impart that too on her. And like this whole idea, like we have as a community been painted with an America brush for a very long time. And that just is not the Canadian firearm ownership reality, neither in how we approach them or who we are as a collective group. Right. And that's why, like, I told her, I was like, it will not be a challenge for me to bring a bunch of gun owners who are affected by this that do not look like your average straight white male. That will not be hard. Do that with my eyes closed. And because we are so varied, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think especially like provincially here, they're in trouble. So they're interested in anything to kind of take some of that heat off. And it's a great time. Like I will also be scheduling some appointments with the potential conservative people that are running for the conservative MLAs. I'm going to be having conversations. You believe that is going to happen as well. But I think everybody needs to do the same. If you're listening right now, talk to your MLA. I know that it can feel pointless. I can promise you I wasn't looking forward to doing it today. I been punched in the face enough times, but I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, we'll see where things go. I realize that time is running out, but it's not going to hurt.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt.
Nope.
No. So, well done. I just have to say that.
Oh, thank you.
Well done, Dustin. I was thinking about you today.
Aww.
And I was thinking about, I get to see the other Kelly.
True, I am the other Kelly.
The other Kelly. Way back when.
Way back when.
Way back when.
Wait, what?
I was Kelly.
On a show one night. I wasn't able to make it way back when. And I said, the other Kelly's coming on. And it was a surprise.
Yeah.
And it was Dustin.
It was me.
So 3 years ago, it was our 500th anniversary, our 500th episode. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
3 years. Oh wow.
Wow.
Our 500th. That came up in my timeline today. It was part of the whole reminiscing piece.
See, now you have to stick around for episode 1000. I hope you know that.
Oh God. You know what I missed?
What?
I missed the anniversary this year.
You did.
I wasn't. Because I wasn't, I silenced our chat because you guys are.
You don't like us. It's okay.
You know how many times I get a ding, ding, ding throughout the day? You guys are chatty Cathy. So, and that's why I also miss Dave and his getting his first year ever, because chatty Cathy's over here. Literally 300 messages in a day. I said, you guys need to just be quiet for a little bit. So I silenced you. So I missed it. And I'm going, oh, crap. But, it's a good show. So I will stick around for 1,000.
You better.
I know. I better. I have to. I missed you guys so much. So I'm honoring my promise to each and every one of you that I will try to make it on this show more often. But just as an FYI, I just talked to Tony before you came on, and as well as before we started the go live button. I'm changing jobs again. So I think I may actually... my work-life balance that I was trying to restore is no longer happening again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you signed up for the Ontario director again. Yes, that's perfect.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You don't like having free time or sleep. You should come work in film. You'd be great for it.
I would love it. I would love it.
I'll come out sometime.
Okay.
For real.
For real.
You need to come visit for like more than an afternoon, so I get to actually hang out with you.
So I was kind of chatting with Rick a little bit about, yeah, I need to go to BC and spend a little bit of
Is
time
it
up
cross
there.
country time again?
It is. It's
Yeah,
cross
come-
quarantine time.
Come for a visit. You need a place to stay. We have spare rooms.
Yeah,
Just-
more than a weekend or more than a couple of hours and getting on a ship and exploring Alaska, where I want to move to because I fell in love with it, and yeah, and I hate people, so it's perfect.
Alaska's perfect for you. Yeah. If you live anywhere near the ocean, the weather isn't even that horrible. Honestly.
It's not. It
You
was
know?
very nice. It was like 15 to 20 degrees and zero rain. I heard that wasn't really the thing,
No.
but
I'll
also
expect a lot of rain, but I wouldn't expect it to be like crazy cold near the coast.
it was beautiful. They said it very nice, temperate temperatures.
Yep.
And yeah, I also enjoyed almost 24 hours of sunlight when I was there.
See, I don't love that. The vampire in me.
Okay,
is
enough
kind of
about me and
against
my
that.
travels.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Because it's a gun show, I will mention that.
I'm the exact opposite.
I think we got a delay now too. But because this is a gun show, I will say that Alaska also no carry permits. It's constitutional carry state, so you can just enjoy carrying
freedom.
whatever you darn well like. Yeah. Oh no, they let felons carry guns there just for safety reasons, which is wild.
Well, it's because of
Okay.
safety, because there's
Because of the
wild
wildlife.
animals there.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got to break out your blunderbuss. All right, let's go to upcoming events. That's technically not a firearm in the States.
Nope.
HEG firearm training. We have the master out this week, so no PAL this week, but there
That
is
is away.
planned for April 11th and 12th doubleheader PAL only, no RPAL. So if you're waiting for Adriel to do a RPAL, like how I was long time ago, you will have to catch the train that's not running as often, just so you know. 3-gun matches, 3gun.ca. HG changed how he is running RPALs, so he is doing like once per 3 months kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know the analogy between a train, though. It's only coming around once every 3 months.
Yeah,
is
it's
what
like
you're saying?
not running as much
It's
of a
not
schedule.
It's not a regular. Okay.
3-gun matches are coming up in Edmonton area, April 4th at Shore Park and 11th at Chaz. I guess Adriel's going to miss one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Project Maple Seed, I see April 26th, Long Butte.
Lone Butte, yeah.
Lone Butte.
So it's happening in BC. Darren Ostapowicz is going to be the shoot boss for that. Super excited about that. But we have events that are going to be taking place that we are across the whole entire country. We now have shoot bosses that are engaging with those places where you go and shoot guns, ranges. Yeah. And so our calendar will
What do you mean, not
populated.
Ontario streets? I saw that's the perfect place for it.
Yeah, right. No. Yeah. So go and visit the website, go into the events page, go and talk to your club executive if you want to Maple Seed. Send an email to info@mapleseedrifleman.com, and I will forward it to the appropriate shoot boss or proper provincial coordinator.
I will be personally offended if you come out to do a Maple Seed in BC and don't give me like prior warnings so that I can be there. I'm just saying, I'll be upset.
I will let you know. I will let you know far ahead. And yeah, so let us know about that. So Dave, just as an FYI, myself and Dave, as I was kind of talking about it, but then I got off track because ADHD. But anyways, Dave and I will be at the Toronto Sportsman Show. Dave's going to be at the ORA booth. I'm going to be at the CCFR booth, as well as maybe at Strikeman. I don't know if I'll be at both. I'll be at one of them anyways. Come out and see us. Say hi to us too if you do see us. CCFR Gunny Girls will be there by the way, you can go and get a calendar for a reduced rate, $15, and they'll even sign it for you. We're just going to blast out all the leftovers that we have that were in the store. So come and say hi. And yeah,
That's awesome. I wish I was going. I really do.
I wish you were coming.
You should be going to TACCOM.
Yeah.
So TACCOM's happening again. Yeah, you need to come out for that because, historically TACCOM was in April. It was right after TSS, and then it changed to the
Really?
day.
It's always September. Well, maybe I'm just because I'm a latecomer anyway.
That's way back.
Way back.
Way back. It was initially the first two were in April, so right after Toronto Sportsman Show. And then it changed to September, and it was the week after Labor Day, and that's the same week that we had some other events taking place, and I had already committed and prioritized those. So I stopped going to TACCOM because, so the Meaford Long Range Steel Challenge, I always volunteered for that. One, because there was not as many volunteers, and two, you got to see some really cool shooting out on a tank pad out for a long distance, and you got to see beautiful rifles and beautiful shooting. It was, now it no longer happens. So I'll go back to TACCOM now. We can do it.
We'll see where things are at. I am learning with this show that the schedule is not so much a schedule as just a list of things that we might do. Maybe like I've discovered
Shot show. Maybe we'll go to TACCOM. Maybe we'll go to TSS. Maybe
you're coming, Shot. You better come to Shot with us.
So I have to formulate what I'm doing each year, right? Because I only have so much annual leave. I used to take it all and travel across the country with Project Maple Seed. But now, I'm doing things like going to, Alaska. And this year I'm going to go to Europe for 2 weeks. And, and I got to do a whole bunch of other things too. But I am also prioritizing my weekends. So every weekend I have from now until the end of the year, I'm doing something, whether it's with the CCFR, with its Gunny Girls in the calendar, whether it's with Maple Seed, whether it's with, the events like TACCOM or TSS or whatever. So, SHOT Show is in January next year. And funny enough, I think this upcoming year, this anniversary, I get 1 more week of annual leave with work.
See, no, this would be perfect because you're going to run yourself into the ground this year. I'm going to run myself into the ground this year. So we can be at SHOT Show exhausted together.
So we qualify in so many levels for SHOT Show.
I know.
Media as well as industry. Come on, we should go.
Just you wait. But I am really driven with this YouTube thing this year. Like I am, if I don't have people handing us machine guns next year by the time we get off the plane, I'll be disappointed. Like, yeah.
Hello, SHOT Show. It's Dustin. He's coming. Hand me a shotgun or
exactly.
a machine gun.
Machine shotgun. That was the most fun.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
Was it the most? It was.
It was pretty fun, Tony. Come on, it was a suppressed short barrel magazine.
I'm trying to think which one I liked the most. No, I don't know. It didn't get as hot as the rifles.
Okay, so why don't we move on? Because guess what?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Late.
Let's go to the news. Supreme Court decision. Just the decision to hear the case, not the decision, is coming out tomorrow. I don't know why they have to make this official. It's like,
so they have to make the announcement whether they're going to hear the case or not.
Everyone's like waiting like this at their computer, and they're gonna say like 5 seconds worth of words. We decided to hear it. We decided not to hear it. That's just
correct.
I guess court is
so they have to make a decision whether it warrants, right? When you submit an appeal, right? It has to be reviewed. You have to submit where the error was in judgment, right? And the Supreme Court of Canada will say we think this has merit and therefore we will hear the case, or we don't think that it has merit and therefore we've made the decision that we won't hear the case.
Yeah.
I'm going to be surprised if they don't hear the case.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up either, because the Supreme Court of Canada will do things that sometimes we don't expect.
The Supreme Court of Canada is the Supreme Court of Justin Trudeau, which is why I'm not getting my heart.
Yeah.
Like,
so they do things. Judges, I'm just very. Judges do things
that you don't expect.
That you don't expect, and not always according to what
Common sense,
been
logic,
case law. This is Supreme Court of Canada, though. This is a Supreme Court of Canada and appeals. This is the last stop.
Yeah,
it is.
They also haven't heard a gun case in a while,
right?
Like,
what's the last time they actually did?
Oh gosh, there was one. I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago, and it wasn't really like a right to have firearms. It was just there was a firearm involved. But they haven't heard a like gun rights case in a long time.
I think they did the mandatory minimum. I think
that's right. You're right.
Did.
Okay.
Yeah. I know who. Anyways, just keep going, Kelly. Don't even talk about it. Just move on.
All right, moving on. Let's go to a friend of the show, Calibre magazine, Caliber magazines. But
Caliber magazine.
I have to say it the wrong way.
Dan.
Don't. So, yeah.
Where'd they go? Let me see.
Caliber
magazine, and they're actually on. If you're on the Android version of the client, there's the hype function. I think they were at top 33 this morning. They're at top 26 right now. So
what are we talking about?
It's pretty big. We're talking about how the gun ban budget has crossed the $1 billion mark, and the Caliber magazine Dan has made a discussion about it basically. And,
well, we knew that was going to happen. Sorry, but we did, right?
Who's shocked? Do you want to see my shocked face? Super shocked.
Yeah, super shocked. So,
no,
yeah, I think it's, what is it? Like April, like the budget year is coming to end, so they have to add more money to things now. So that's basically what's triggering the whole
well,
thing.
we already knew that it was going to be in the billions as opposed to the millions that they said that it was going to be taking place. Remember, they haven't even seized,
any
confiscated,
guns,
recovered. Can I use a different term?
I won't use the word recovered. They didn't possess them before. Confiscated. They haven't confiscated any.
So it's confiscation. So when we look at it's palatable to people who don't understand firearms at all, that it's a buyback program. But when you start talking about the fact that it's only compensation is going to be $2, that's not fair.
That's a slap in the face. Actually,
the truth is that they don't technically. They don't
own any of them anyway.
They don't own it. No, none of them do. But the way things are worded, and they don't technically need to offer us anything.
No, they do not.
Well, yeah, it's not guaranteed, right? So $0 is amount,
right?
But everybody should go check out Dan's video on Caliber Magazine. He's got a YouTube channel, and he did a fantastic breakdown of where those numbers are coming from and how we have crossed the $1 billion threshold and how we are not done yet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, man. He made a very good comparison. That's a little bit before my time, the long gun registry. How that I think that program was 14 years in total, and how much money that spent, and how it compares to this particular program, how the trajectory kind of works, how the math kind of works, basically. So yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to keep going, right? I think that's where the liberals are coming from, or people that are currently in power. That's where they're coming from. They have to keep going, because if not,
then they'd have to admit that they were wrong, and we can't do that.
So the long gun registry, there was acknowledgement from all sides of government that it was horrible. It was ineffective. But we also know that the long gun registry, even though there was any of the files were supposed to be destroyed, there is acknowledgement that there wasn't.
Nope.
It wasn't. However, that being said, I'm going to hold this to the public safety minister in Quebec. Let's
Yeah.
hold him to his word, saying that the Quebec registry, which is still in effect, by the way,
Yeah.
right, that's not going to be used for the confiscation.
Believe it when I see it.
I will believe it when I see it. That's why I said we have to hold him accountable, because if he's saying that. However, that being said, there is somebody else. So good on Dustin for having those conversations. But Sophie, she was talking about what was taking place in Quebec. She did the exact same thing. She started talking to people who maybe didn't really understand or know about specific provincial Quebec, right? Quebec sees itself, it's its own nation, really. But that being said, from a provincial level, she had conversations with the public safety minister, and he had no idea about anything. So ordinary Canadians making a difference, going and talking to their provincial MLAs, MPPs, right?
Yep.
Same thing.
Exact same thing. I'm inspired. Hopefully other people are too.
It was part of my biography that I had to submit to the CCFR. I literally put it in there. I said, go talk to your MLAs, go talk to your MPPs, go talk to your MPs, go talk to your counselors, and go invite people at grassroots, right? One person is just a drop in the bucket, but many people are, part of an ocean and also a movement, and do make a difference. So everybody taking part in this will make a change.
I
we
believe
have
it.
to.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The tide is turning. What's next, Tony?
Yep. Back on track. Tony.
All right. The next one is from Runkle.
Oh yeah.
I love Ian.
There's the news coming out of Ontario.
It's Ontario.
Yeah.
Where a homeowner was able to, in a report, retrieve a properly stored firearm and defend themselves in a armed home invasion. And currently, they're not charged, which is very good news. How things have changed. I remember the case, I think also out of Ontario, where there was a situation where the homeowner's mother was all tied up and stuff, and he was charged. I'm pretty sure that was a pretty definitive home defense case too. But
I just want to.
There's been a few. Go ahead.
I gotta point out real quick, if we just take a look at this wonderful freeze frame. Yeah, you guys notice anything about that handgun that criminal has? It's just something that jumps out at you, perhaps. Perhaps that gun was never legally purchased in Canada. It was a dead giveaway.
The dust cover is a little short, just saying.
Yeah, the front end of that thing looks like it's got a 2-inch barrel on it. That gun isn't legal here. Nope.
So I have to say, this is a home invasion that took place at 3 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and breaking into the home. So Doug Ford also came on record. He did a presser. Good old Doug.
Oh, I wish we had the soundbite. I should have saved it. I forgot to.
So do you remember what he said?
Something to the effect of, good on the guy for shooting him. I think everybody should be able to do that. And he also made mention that he thinks it's absolute nonsense that the government's coming after legal law-abiding gun owners, and he wants nothing of it. So for all of my Ontario friends and all of our Ontario listeners, I would say perhaps now would be a great time to talk to your provincial MPPs and make sure that they put their money where their mouth is on that issue.
Dear Mr. Premier.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, send that letter.
The other thing that he is submitting that Ontarians and everybody should be able to carry bear mace, pepper spray.
Yeah.
It should be legal so that people, particularly he mentioned women, by the way, should be able to defend themselves. I'm just going to say this, and I have to say it, that a lot of people, it doesn't make a difference if you spray them with bear spray right in the face or mace. It just pisses people off. But it is baby steps. But it means that people should have the right to protect themselves, and people should be able to protect themselves in their homes. What they were talking about was specifically people should be feeling safe in their homes. There was some questions by the press stating, like, for example, there was questions where, well, how does the person that's the homeowner, what if a person breaks into, like, there was hypothetical, right? Somebody breaks into your home and maybe they were unarmed, right? And then you shoot them. So, the homeowner, why?
Maybe just don't break into other people's
Yeah.
homes.
So
How about that?
the response was, you shouldn't be breaking into the home, and also the homeowner doesn't know that, right? There
Yeah.
was nefarious an intent with breaking into the home and the home invasion, etc. So there's also other weapons that are available. So knives, bats, whatever it is. But if somebody is at 3 a.m. trying to break into your home, and it's never a good thing, right?
It should be, look, in reality, and it is wild that we still have people that are like, no, you shouldn't be able to do that. What about the poor person that broke into your house? If it's 3 a.m. and you have unlawfully broken into someone's home, you have forfeited all of your rights to safety. Like, for real, it should be assumed that you are there to do someone harm and that you are armed. And I don't know.
I have to say, how far we come from, and I think this was only a year ago, where we had the chief of police saying, put the keys for your car beside your door and leave the door open so that they can steal your car keys.
It wasn't even 6 months ago. Another one of them was saying, just submit. Best option is just to submit. They very rarely want to do you any more harm. Just submit to the people, the armed intruders, as they steal from you. Best option.
I do want you to think about the response time. So I'm very lucky to be in an urban area, right?
Yep.
However, we have so many of our population here in Canada where it is in it's rural areas where the response times sometimes actually take 2 hours, right? Maybe 3 hours for a response. And that's prioritized response as well because of the amount of constables or members that are on out, particularly in the evening, right? Skeletal staffing. But when we look at that response times, right, and what can take place is just it's not good. People should be able to feel comfortable and safe in their home. And it should be up to, and this is my personal opinion, take it for what you will. And it's up to the individual person as well. Like, I'm not going to tell the person that lives beside me that they need to actually arm themselves and whatever. If they don't, that's fine. Right. But I also know that who's going to make out better. I'm going to tell the so if the guy breaks into my house or the next door neighbors, he might have a better shot at my neighbor as opposed to me.
I completely agree with you. I think some of these, what frustrates me about the debate that is still part of the debate is that all of a sudden there's a lot of critical thinking of, well, what happens if some kid's playing ding dong ditch and somebody takes this as an approval to just fire a whole mag blindly through a door. Like, because that could happen. Like,
critical thinking. Hello.
Why are we playing that game? Can we stop?
No, it's part of coming of age.
Yeah.
But people should be doing it.
No, coming of age is staring at your computer all day. Exactly.
That's my God, how
That's
old
a different
are you?
kind of coming of age, Tony. But with that, what's this next bit we've got, Tony?
Oh yeah, so from the CCFR podcast, Rod and Tracy mentioned that they're looking at the possibility of a fall election. I would just like to get Dustin's take on that. I'm never that optimistic on that. I think I'm always of the camp of, you have the advantage, you might as well just ride it out, and that's basically what happened last time around. But I know Dustin is very much pro-election. I don't know how
Tony,
I'll say your
if you asked
position
me
on
2
this.
weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, you know what, there's probably, and I'm not Dustin, but if you asked me 2 weeks ago if there was going to be a fall election, I would have said yeah. However, there's been some floor crossing lately.
All right, everybody want to take a seat in the political corner for just a sec? Okay, here's my hot take. It is still certainly possible. Now, then
It
the
is,
reason, the reasons, there's good reason. Now Carney, yes, may have secured himself a very, very shaky majority.
Majority.
Very, very, very small majority. Now, the reason that he could still be interested in a bigger majority is like his hands are still tied. It's still tough to get stuff done. He could have a couple more floor crossers and it'd still be kind of tough to get stuff done. Because if you've got 3 MPs out on international trade things, or if he's out on international trade things and 2 other people are, you now can't vote in any kind of where's my brain going? Confidence motion. And so that's a problem. Now, the logic in why he may want a majority sooner rather than later and may still try going after one is Kuzma, right? So if Kuzma falls, or if Kuzma looks like it's going to fall, he may preemptively call a fall election as a, hey, I need to be able to, I need a real mandate, not a half plus one, half the seats plus one majority. Like I need a real majority if I'm going to be negotiating on the part of the country.
True.
So there is that argument. But one of the other ones that I've found really, really interesting is the way that that committees are made up. So it's also very difficult for them to get things done when even at this 50% plus one, the committee structure is still kind of a challenge for them. So there is an additional argument for them to want a stronger majority so that they can run the table in the committees too. Because if they have even 65% of the seats, well, then they get to set who runs the committees. They have the majority on the committees. They don't have to deal with any of the BS, people, dragging their feet and any of the procedural stuff. There's a lot more flexibility that they have in going after that. And I really don't think that, like, it's bananas to me that his numbers are as good as they are right now. I don't think that they have a hope of them getting any better in a couple of years. Like, I really don't think things are going to get any better in the country in the short term or medium term, honestly. And I don't know if anybody's looked at the potential, the projected potential comeback for the NDP if Avi Lewis wins. They could be looking at pulling between 10 and 13% from the Liberals for the NDP, which would be a problem. And I could see him wanting to get that election out of the way. Like, Avi Lewis is probably going to be leader of the NDP in the next couple of months here, right? Like, I think their leadership is at the end of this month. So I could honestly see if Carney was thinking like 4 years ahead from now, he calls an election sometime in the next 6 months.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to in 4 years from now because
there's no way. He's got no hope, right? Because now Avi Lewis has had 4 years to run, right? Right now he's just a new face. But every day that man is there, he's pecking away from the left flank in a big way. And Carney hasn't managed to steal anywhere near as much from the right as I think they were hoping with that transition to the center. I don't know. I'm not putting any hope on it. I'm not a betting guy. I only bet with my life, never my money. But
I do think you have some very good points. I think though that, again, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, absolutely 100%.
Same.
But I think that there's been some shady shit happening. Just have to say, some shady shit happening, and there is a some majority that's happening. He's a little bit more comfortable.
He's a little bit more comfortable, but I question how comfortable he is, and I question how long that lasts, right? Like, there's no way they win again in 4 years. I truly don't believe they could win again.
Well, with the economy that we are right now, right? The prices are astronomical. How much is it for a liter
of gasoline?
You want to know how bad it is out here?
I know how.
It's over 2, I think.
It's 209 today. It's been going up 5 cents a day. So
first time ever, right?
The first time ever?
No,
no.
It's been over $2 there.
It was at once upon a time it was like a 235 here at its first high watermark. It was really bad.
Like COVID.
No, COVID was great. COVID, it was below 90 cents. It was like 89 cents in COVID.
I think it's like after, maybe slightly after. I remember there was a time as a high.
We're at $1.68 right now in where
$1.68. I was loving. That was the price of gas when I moved to
No.
British Columbia.
No,
I'm not even
that's horrible.
kidding.
For us, it's horrible.
That was literally the price of gas when I moved here 15 years ago.
Yeah, no. But also, again, how many? We're a gun show, but how many
Sorry.
jobs have been lost this past month, right?
Pierre did Rogan today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. I was going to talk about that. How exciting is that? I haven't even had a chance to listen, but
It's not up. It's not out yet. I can't wait.
Need to.
It's gonna be good.
It's all over social media, though. It's
Yep.
going to be.
It's gonna be a thing.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah. And I want to see what
Okay.
that looks like. Sorry, I know this is a gun show. One more thing.
Fine.
I really want to see what the politics look like or what the polls look like 3 weeks from now. That's
Okay,
what I want.
let's
Anyway,
do that.
I don't
But
know.
the
I
other-
don't have much.
But I do
involvement
have
in
one
all
thing
this.
to say about the social media post between him and Joe Rogan, right?
Yep.
I've stood beside Pierre, and I'm taller than him. Look at the picture of him and Joe Rogan. I'm going, how tall is Joe Rogan? Like, seriously?
Rogan's tiny. He's like 5'4" or something like that. He's like not very tall at all.
Yeah, Yeah. I'm taller than Pierre.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. 3
Okay.
weeks. Let's regroup in 3 weeks and see what happens.
Deal.
Okay. But also, yeah, 3 weeks. Let's regroup.
Yeah, we'll follow up in 3 weeks.
But if they call a fall election, you know when they have to do it. You do know that, right?
Wait, when do they have to do it?
They
Oh, because
have
they have to do it before the budget, don't they? Yeah, they
with
do.
budget, and they have to do it also before they break for the summer.
Oh, interesting.
Why?
Why do they have to do it before they break for the summer?
Uh-huh.
Because they have to give so many days notice for.
And they'd be shut down for a couple of because the summer shutdown. That's like
Correct.
3 months where they have to go on vacation.
Correct.
Yeah,
Can they prorogue before that?
that's Trudeau era. We don't prorogue in Carney's government, not yet.
Not yet.
He hasn't showed up in the
Could.
Epstein files enough.
Okay, let's move
Okay.
on.
Moving on.
Too much
Okay,
politics.
moving on.
Too much
New
politics.
gun stuff. Let's look at gun stuff. Gun stuff. Gun stuff. Gun stuff. Gun stuff.
Remember when I said I was only going to be on for an hour? That was just a horse shit.
We're almost done. I promise.
Almost done. Almost done. The main topic is political. All right, new gun stuff. First, I don't know. I think Adriel put this in. This is the page for PR Precision out of Whitecourt, Alberta. They have some pretty interesting things, including a mini chassis for the Tika T3 folding type. Have a standard AR MSR grip on it. I don't think it's beaver tail now. Looks pretty interesting for a hunting option. They also have different bottom metals that may or may not let you take a different magazine. These look standard magazine, but they have bigger trigger guards on them. I really prefer the old style Remington 700 like squared trigger guard instead of the more modern kind of shotgun teardrop kind of thing.
You're an old school dude, aren't you?
really is.
Sometimes, right?
You are.
My 1911. I don't, why do you have to be round? I guess it doesn't snag on a lot of things. They have
Well,
interesting muzzle brakes.
yeah.
Custom.
And by the
custom
way, you're
bolt
not
knobs.
you're not taking this hunting, so
Why not?
because you're not.
Why is he not taking you hunting?
I wouldn't take that hunting.
Oh, taking that hunting? God, no
Yeah.
way. That's
You were talking about taking this hunting. I'm going, why the hell are you taking this hunting?
Like
don't take
this?
this hunting.
no.
Why not?
No. Oh, Tony, you and I got to talk.
I don't get it.
Oh,
Anyway.
you're hilarious, man. All right, what else we got going on?
It's
Second-
gorgeous. It
It
is
is pretty.
gorgeous. I want it, but it ain't going hunting with me.
No.
By the way, how much is it? That's the other
The
reason
mini
why.
chassis itself is $1,050.
That's
Yep.
why I don't take it hunting, Tony.
Yeah. My hunting
you gotta
gun
use
cost
it.
me $700, and that might have been too much for a gun that I beat up the way I do.
You're gonna use it. You might as well use it well. I mentioned about the Savage rebates, and these all apply to Canada. So you can have a random gauge shotgun. I haven't heard a lot of them around here. I think that's a semi-auto too. There's
Renegade
Stevens
shotgun? Mhm.
555, or this is kind of the big one. You can have smaller $25 off if you have a Model 64 Rascal, a 93 R17 93, or a Mark
Oh.
II, or $50 if you buy A series or B series. So A22, B22, the A17s, the 22 mags. I think all of them made in Canada, so that's pretty cool.
They're all
Also,
made in Canada, and they're all made here in Ontario. So come out and see me. It's only an hour and a half from my place. Come over. We can do dinner.
That's pretty cool.
I'll come out in the when the weather's nice.
Yeah. So they do arrange tours at the
Oh, that's
Savage
awesome.
plant. So you can go and do it.
Ooh.
We've had I can't remember his name all of a sudden. We've had him on the show before. Really good guy, by the way. And they've also
I
sponsored.
remember we have Savage reps on the show.
Yeah.
That was cool.
No, the CEO.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so they've also sponsored Project Maple Seed. They provided us with a bunch of rascals. It was awesome.
Nice.
Rascals?
Really good people.
What?
Yes.
Rascals are great.
Yeah, for the
They're
kids.
single shots though.
Yeah, they're great for
Yes.
kids.
We
One
have-
shot. You don't
When
have to
we
worry.
used
I guess you don't want to run away.
what?
So no, I said you probably don't want a kid to run away on a 22 semi-auto. I guess fair enough. Bolt action works good. All right, going to Bass Pro. They have the Elko
Oh.
now in stock. So if you want to buy one, you can get to touch it probably beforehand and decide. I'm surprised it's actually a melanite finish. I think they still accept AR mags.
Yeah, it still accepts AR mags. What's the price on it? 1,500.
1449.
50.
Yeah, so
Okay,
1,500.
And for any of our listeners, please remember that we do in fact have a Cabela's Bass Pro link that you can use. And if you decide to purchase the Alcor or anything else, we will read about it on the show at some point, and we get a tiny little bitty kickback that helps keep the lights on. So
Go ahead.
I'm gonna wait until Kodiak comes out with that
The chassis version,
sweet
yeah.
chassis. The problem is I've also heard that these Alcors eat themselves after a few thousand rounds, so I want to see what Kodiak does to solve that.
Fair enough. I think I solved the mystery of Bass Pro links not opening. For example, here's the white flyers blackout orange clay targets for $29.99, a good discount from $38, and it's in store only. So when you click in it, it'll tell you the thing has gone fishing. So just so you know, go into your store in case you're organizing, for example, IPSC Shaka match, some kind of rimfire match. These clays are very handy, and you might as well get them on sale.
Oh, you got to set your store.
Sorry?
You got to set your store.
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
That makes sense.
have it set.
Okay.
Anyway, going to Northern Elite Firearms, they're getting the Vortex Ace Ballistic Weather Meter in store now. I mentioned that it's the new Vortex Relay Geoballistics situation. It is 899 Canadian.
Tony, that's a little pricey.
Comparing to the Castro, it's actually not that more expensive, and you have a color screen.
Fair.
And you have a warranty, so you can drop it.
Oh, I do love Vortex's warranty.
So,
Yeah.
to me, for electronic devices, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Because I'm
So
not very good.
there is a variety that are on the market. I love Vortex, by the way. I really do. They're amazing people and a company, and I'd like to try it out. I also think Kestrels are amazing, but I also understand how, my people from many centuries ago looking at wind and saying, ah.
Nah, we use computers now.
You know what? You know what happens when computers fail?
You get a new one.
No, you have to go back to the basics. Learn how to do wind readings. Okay. move on.
Okay.
Fair
Moving
enough.
on.
Moving on, we're going. Calgary Shooting Center is bringing some high-end stuff in here, and they have a post that I need to find. Maybe not today, but I mentioned at IWA, the SHOT Show of Europe, there was the RS3 Walther straight pull bullpup gun. I think they're bringing those in. The MSRP are set, I believe, around 5,000 Canadian. I think the base model was 4. So just go check out their CGN and their store, theshootingcenter.com, and they have some pretty cool stuff. This one is the Pattersoli Jackal 44, so it's like a spiritual successor to the Colt Lightning, where interesting history about it is basically Winchester had the gentleman's agreement to produce lever guns. Colt's like, how about we produce a pump gun instead? So they had a pump action companion rifle, and $2,450. It's pretty expensive, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pump action 44 side gate, so it's like a lever gun, but it's a pump gun.
I mean, it's cool. I have $2,500.
It's not $2,500 cool. Yeah, perhaps. And then last but not least, looks like I've overstocked on large rifle primers because the prices are even coming down even more, which is kind of surprising to me. Rangeview Sports have their Winchester large rifle primers for $137 for 1,000. That's a great price for large rifle. The only thing is Rangeview charges quite a bit for shipping, so you want to check that before you make your purchase. And that will be all of the new gun stuff for this week.
Cool. Well, we already had our main topic. Oh, Tony, you're muted. Yeah.
Sorry, we had our main discussion, so we'll move on to listener feedback. I think I have Eddie's homework right here. Let me go find that real quick.
Good old Eddie.
I don't think we have an email this week, though.
Us.
All right, 3 homework from Eddie. Tony, Ballastall smells better than Hoppy's number 9.
He's right.
I would...
He's right. You're wrong. He's right. Don't argue with him.
I would disagree because at work, where my work environment is filled with a lot of heavy duty industrial grade cleaners, so I got used to that. Ballastall, I don't think it smells bad. It triggers me to want to sneeze. That's all. Is that CJ headstem brass you are reloading from Spend Nork 223 ammo? I believe it is 223. I believe it is Nork, but I live my life on the edge and I shoot a lot of range pickup brass, so I don't know where it's from. I've heard they're softer than most brass, but reloads well. I don't know. Usually for my 223 firing schedule, I collect the brass once, and the second time around they fly out when I'm shooting a stage and I'm not collecting them anymore. So it's just the feeling was a little weird on the bottom of the stroke. It doesn't seem to quite have a full stop on it. And in comparison to, for example, I exercised some 308 and 450 this weekend, and those feel normal. That's how I'm going to put it. Eddie again, about owning guns for self-protection, I've found many Canadians' attitude are so backwards. As Adriel brought up, they're fine if guns are used to protect politicians, bringing up having armed security in our schools, and they balk. I like to throw them a curveball by asking, our children are our future and one of society's most valuable resources. Do you value our politicians' life over that of our children's? I also add that there was a liaison office at my high school, and yes, he was armed. Nothing bad ever came from that officer present. Have anyone filed an ATIP on who are on those liberal gun policy committees? It's gonna say, here's the start of the document, black, 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 black,
Yeah.
black, black, black.
Yeah, we're not allowed to know.
So what is he asking for? Is he asking for who the people are that are on the committee that make the recommendations?
I'm guessing that is correct.
So you don't need an ATIP for that. So it is published.
I thought they had concealed who those people were for.
No, I thought they said they had previously made it public. So let me just go and Google it.
Might be able to check that out. Typical hypocritical elitists like John Tory have armed protection, yet they would ask why anyone needs a gun. It's obvious he believes he is far above the commoners.
Well, it's the way it's been forever, right?
Rules for thee, not for me.
Right. And I'm going to tell you this. Most Canadians, not most. Okay. Yeah. Most Canadians, they don't really give a shit. They don't care. They also think that, yep, you know what? Our politicians, they need people around them to protect them. Security, armed security, they're just going to say that's what it is, right? Most do. They don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
They
All
don't.
right, let's go to Eddie's last comment. This is for Adriel, who is enjoying the sun of America right now. So, Adriel, those CamPro 314, 314.314 bullets, 98 grains. HBWC bullets are not for the Nagant revolver. They're used for 7.62 by 38 millimeter rimmed, which have round flat nose 308 bullets. Okay. The 314 hollow base wad cutter is for ISF centerfire pistols and 32 Smith & Wesson long, seated almost flush to the case mouth. I've not heard good reviews of those plated hollow base wad cutter CamPro bullets and prefer the Lapua fancy 98 grains lead. Oh, Lapua has a lead bullet. Okay, lead hollow base wad cutters. That is interesting. Eddie, if you can educate me in a future comment, how do you load wad cutters? Like the whole idea of seating the whole thing into the case, like how do you crimp it? The whole idea is kind of insane. I know they're a thing, like manufactured that way, and they're a pain in the ass to load because they're square trying to go into the cylinder. But it's I guess I'm not into like Olympic shooting like how Eddie does a lot of things. So I don't have any knowledge on it, but it is interesting to know that you actually do these yourself and you prefer the lead. I can see how you prefer the lead because I've heard you don't want to like crack the plating, and I can see if you're like scraping the bullet all the way into the case mouth, it will be quite a bit of force. I don't know. That's a discussion for another day.
Indeed.
Okay.
We'd like to thank our supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to support us, you can find us on Patreon. And if you'd like to send us an email, you can email the show at slamfireradio@gmail.com. If you want, as Dustin has mentioned, if you want to buy something from Bass Pro Canada or Brownells, you can find our affiliate link to these two stores on the side of slamfireradio.com's website. By using these links, you'll be supporting the show, and we'll talk about your purchase anonymously semi-annually. Do we have any shout-outs?
I want to shout out Craig. You know who you are. You're awesome.
Yeah. Derek's been commenting on our show a lot tonight, so we'll see him this weekend. He's our new regional field officer for Southwestern Ontario. Just have to say, we did a lot of shout outs to CCFR tonight. Just saying, good job.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll give a shout out to Dan at Calibri Magazine. His what's the opposite of favorite? His most hated way of pronouncing his channel's name. Go check him out. And to Ronco, who made the video about the home defense shooting in Canada. So go check out their YouTube channel. And in the video section, you will see their videos featured on our stream. All right, join our Discord server. Watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join the CCFR, and I will see you next week.
Later.
Be nice to each other out there, you guys.
Good night.